CPaT Invent is its first of a kind dynamic content design software platform that's actually been designed directly or developed specifically for airline training. When you look at it, the idea is to empower the airlines and the training organizations to be able to create and modify courseware in real time, whether that's courseware that we provided to them or that's courseware that they publish themselves. And give them the tools to do that, such as an instructional design platform that has templates and robust imagery that can be delivered in different formats, such as a text and graphics format, or a two-dimensional keypad, such as a CDU emulator, a 3D cockpit environment, or a 3D walkaround environment. And some of this stuff will move into a virtual reality environment if the client has the proper tools for us to incorporate that with. And then also providing them with the ability to create multiple language situations for English as a second language student. Most of our training is always developed in English, but again, we're starting sometimes with initial students that may have poor English and would like to be going back and forth. And so we'll look at all of that stuff, but we believe that we've come up with a platform, a software platform that will give you those solutions. Quick overview of what CPaT does, and then we'll go look at it. So we've organized it into 3 distinct pillars for features and functions of Invent. First, content design. That's what we've been talking about. Creating, modifying, and and publishing your own courseware right in the CPaT LMS. Tools that are very easy to use, drag and drop capability, a full library of aviation imagery, and you have the ability to make changes on demand. The second is content enhancements, the ability to modify courseware that CPaT provides you, right? So instead of being stuck with the way that we teach things, you can put your own training culture on courseware that we deliver. And then content control. Making all of these changes requires very specific and efficient version control and change management. All of this leads and will support those of you who are using an evidence-based training system, because it will collect data, provide data to your evidence-based training program, and then allow you to adjust the training to meet what outcomes your EBT systems are telling you. So with that all being said, let's go on over. I know many of you are excited to see the software itself. So I'm going to jump on over and take a look here. I'm going to start with clicking on CPaT Invent. My link here, it's going to take me into the admin dashboard of a CPaT learning management system. For those of you who are already clients, you'll recognize this. This is the admin dashboard. For those of you who are new to CPaT, there are many features and functions on controlling your training that are delivered through the administrator dashboard. We're not going to be able to talk about those today, though we're happy to show you those at any time, and we will be presenting more on this in later seminars. Today, we're going to focus on Invent. And so I've gone over here, selected lessons, and you will see that under lessons, and this is the slide level of a training course, meaning one single lesson and the slides in the lesson. We've got 4 categories for our lessons. Published, those are ones that are done and they're published and the administrator can assign them. Drafts, those are ones that I've completed and I'm actually waiting to do approvals or make some final adjustments before publishing. In development, that's where I'm working on new courses and creating new content. And then archive is stuff that was published that is no longer needed, but I don't want to throw it away, so I archive it. That way I can access it later on. When I look at the lessons we'll take a look here at my published lessons, anything that's published that has an Invent icon next to it, I can adjust. So if I look down this list, all can be adjusted. If it didn't have an Invent icon next to it, I can't adjust it. It's published in some other program than Invent. So I'm going to jump over here. Instead of doing modifying, I'm going to start a new course, so start a new lesson. So I'm going to add a new lesson quickly. It brings up the menu for creating a new lesson. I'm going to hit create, and I'm going to adjust my screen so that I can see everything there. And so we're going to start with, I'll give you a quick example. I'll say Boeing 737-800 FMS demo. We'll just call it that. And I'll just put as a description FMS demo. I can select, so I see I'm the authoring person. It's an aircraft systems course. I could select general subject. I could select procedures. I can select anything. I'm going to go ahead and tell it it's a Boeing 737 NG course. And I've already selected 737-800. If I'm going to do this for credit, I'm going to tell it passing grade is 85. And a couple extra options. I'll tell it ATA number. We can select, and this is for reference, so I can search the courses. I'm going to select navigation, and I can tell it. I can give it some tags so it's easier to search. FMS course. I can intellectual property. Of course, if you're developing this would be under your name. CPaT would be there. And so then I've got my course laid out there, described and what I want. And I'm going to go ahead and tell the software to generate a course template for a lesson template for me, lesson template, so I can start to build my lesson. And so the software right now is going around and gathering the assets and starting to organize it for me. And as you can see, now I have the developer screen is up and in view now. The developer screen is broken into 4 distinct sections, right? We've got the lesson menu bar across the top where I can add pages, I can remove pages. I've got the asset library manager, and I'll explain a little bit about that later, but that's where our images live. I've got the ability to preview my lesson, and I can preview it in 3 different modes. Those training modes I'll explain in just a moment. I can save or adjust my settings. Over to the left-hand side is my page menu, and what CPaT has provided for you is proper instructional design layout for your page menu. So a title page is a required page, and what it did was it grabbed the title that I gave it, and it threw a 737-800 image on there. I can change that image if I like, and I'll show you how to change images. Then it gave me an introduction page. That's where I can introduce the course. Optional. You can delete it if you like. Objective page, again, optional, where you can describe the objectives of the lesson and what the students can expect. A warning page, and that only applies for when I'm doing this in testing. And the warning page says, hey, this is a 4-credit course. Between warning page and score page is where the lesson is going to live and where I'm going to build. And score page is when the lesson is done, where you score it. Conclusion page, like objective page, we're going to tell the student what they learned and what objectives they've met, and then we'll exit. But it's all laid out for me in a way that allows me to structure the course quickly. Over to the right-hand side are the developer tools, and these tools change with each page that I'm working in. So if I'm working in an FMS page or a 3D cockpit page, I'd have different tools. Right now, I'm just working in a text and graphics page, so it's pretty simple. Down below are something that is very unique that CPaT has designed and launched that I think you'll be very excited about. And that is when I'm developing a lesson, I develop one lesson, but I can deliver it in 3 modes. Demonstration mode, where the lesson, whether it's information, procedures, or cockpit procedures or FMS procedures, where the system will teach the student what they need to know and instruct them all the way through. Practice mode, sort of where the student's on their own, where they'll, example on a cockpit flow, we may be telling them, do the before start flow. The student will then practice that flow, and if he makes a mistake, the system drops back to demonstration mode or instruction mode, and will then give him hints and then begin instructing. Perform mode is where we're saying to the student, we're going to deliver it in a way that we need to test their knowledge. When they're doing perform mode, they're testing it They have to complete the task, and if they make mistakes, they're allowed whatever the administrator has defined up to so many mistakes before they fail that task. If they fail the task, it drops back to instruction mode. If they pass the task, you have a documentation on that. So very quick overview of what you're seeing there. Let me jump over. I'm going to move this over here to in the interest of time, to a place where I've already started a course. So at this point, I'm going to jump into in development. I've got a course that I was working on here. I'll just jump over there. It's the same course that we were showing you. I just went a little further down the line. So I've got my FMS introduction to Boeing 737NG FMS started here. And as I go along, I've got my introduction page. I've got my objective page. I've got my warning page, as we talked about. And then now I've got some slides that I've developed. But let's go ahead and add a slide. When I add a slide, it goes to, it brings up the selected page type I want to add. I can add 5 different page types here. I can add a basic page, which is normally text and graphics, and that's where most of the information we deliver would be utilized. We've got 2 3-dimensional environments that we can deliver in. A cockpit procedures page, which selects the cockpit for the airplane you're training on, 737-800, and then renders it for you from either the first officer seat or the captain's seat, depending on the perspective they want to work in, or that you want them to train in. You've got a 3-dimensional walk-around. Again, when we select that, it will grab a 3-dimensional 737-800 in this example, and then place it in the slide for you to work with. We've got an FMS page. It will pull an FMS CDU for the airplane. If the airplane has more than one CDU type, it'll give you the option to select which one is appropriate. And then, of course, quiz pages. So for this example, I'm going to do a basic page first. So I click on a basic page. I see that it's given me a number of pre-designed templates that are text or graphic. I also have the ability to go to a free-form or custom page where I can just lay it out and design it how I like. For this example, I'm going to select single text graphics. So I've got, it went ahead and loaded me a 737 image. I've got the ability to add text to my screen. I've got the ability to add narration as well as upload and audio. So I'll do this very quickly. So I'm going to start with, I don't want that image, about where the CDUs are located in the cockpit. So I'm going to click on the image, and it brings up that asset library manager we were talking about. And this is where all the CPaT imagery lives, or the images that you've uploaded would live. So CPaT at this moment is providing with 1,137 pages of images. That's a lot of images that you don't have to go search for. You also have the ability, as I said, to quickly upload graphics, documents, or videos by clicking here on the upload icon. But how do I find what I'm looking for in 1,137 images? This is a small thumbnail view, but I'm going to go ahead and select a larger view so I can see a picture. And then I'm going to start to narrow it down to the pictures that I need. I'm going to go Boeing. So I know I've narrowed it down to Boeings. I'm going to go NG. So now I've learned it down to NGs, and I'm going to go down to variants. So now I've got still got 190 pages of images. Well, that's a lot, but what I need is a cockpit view for me to lay out. Excuse me, let me spell correctly there. Cockpit, I'm going to search that, and it tells me I have 5 images of cockpit. Some of it laid out in panel form, some of it laid out in 3-dimensional form. The image I know I want, because I already have done this, is I'm going to select one that is a cockpit panel, and I'm going to add that to the page. So now I've got a cockpit panel here to the page. I have some annotations that I can add, arrows, bullet points, ball points, however I would like to do it. I can type some labels there. For this example, I'm just going to leave it blank, and I'll show you more in a second. I'm going to type in some narrative. This is the Boeing 737-800 cockpit layout. And I could say something like the CDUs are located at the the leading edge of the forward pedestal or the center pedestal. I could add some narration, and so I would type my narration here. In this situation, I'm going to select. I'm going to just copy and paste some narration out of another slide that I've already created, just for time's sake, and I'll drop that here. And I'm going to upload an audio for this, and I've already done a basic page audio. You have the ability to upload MP3 audios from any of your preferred programs. I did this one in Windows, and so now I've added the image, I've added the text for the screen, I've added the narration, and I've added the audio. Let's go and preview this and see what it looks like. I have to save it, and then I can preview it. At the moment, so right now the program gathered all that stuff, organized it, and now I can.
Many pre-designed basic page layouts that allow for.
If you can't hear that it's reading the narration right now.
The custom page is more flexible and empowers the developer to customize.
So I'll pause that. So as you can see, I quickly was able to create an organized slide, and I can adjust the text here in my narration, an organized slide that had everything I needed to create effective training. One of the other things that I think you'll be excited to know is in regards to that narration is you can have multiple language selections. I forgot to title this. I'll title this real quick, FMS demo. And so let's take a look real quick. I'll just show you an example of what a multiple language would look like. So here's my introduction page. Welcome to Boeing 737NG. The narration is here, and it's written in English, but I can select a second version of narration. And so I've done this in Spanish. And so now I've got it in both Spanish and English. I've uploaded Spanish and English audio for this. And I'm going to go ahead and go over here and preview this slide real quick. And this way you can get an example of, oops, sorry, got to save it. And when I preview,
page is an optional page.
as you can see, it started in English. So because English was the selected language. If I come down here, and I select
la lección de introducción del Boeing 737NG FMS.
Extremely effective tool. Even though we teach in English, many of our young students may want to listen to it also in their native language. So that's a basic page. As I mentioned before, there are other pages that we can add. We can add a three-dimensional cockpit page or a 3D walkaround page. Let me show you what those would look like. And remember, when we're talking about a three-dimensional page, such as a cockpit procedures page or a walkaround page or an FMS page, CPaT is preloading those programs with OEM procedures. And you can either create new procedures using the Invent system or modify the ones that we gave you to match your SOPs. So I'm going to jump on down here. I'm going to take a look at a three-dimensional cockpit for the 737. And while it's gathering and rendering this, I'll tell you a little bit about what you're seeing. When you build a procedures program, it's going to give you the ability to add an enabling objective, what you'd like the student to do, in this case, locate the captain's FMS CDU. And then what happens if he doesn't do it? Well, it'll tell him that, hey, you made a mistake, locate the captain's CDU on the upper left side of the center pedestal. The system has rendered for me and delivered for me a three-dimensional cockpit here of the 737-800. I did it from the captain's perspective. You can select at any time whether this is from the captain or the first officer's perspective. It allows you to use this Hotspot Editor to place a hotspot, and I moved the hotspot over the top of the FMS CDU and placed it there. And so this is where my task is going to be a reference to. And this would be one step in, let's say, a cockpit familiarization or a flow. I have the ability to adjust that hotspot, change it. But let's take a look, because I know that time is running here. And again, I'm in demo mode. And so I'm going to save it. And I'm going to bring it up, and I'll show you what this looks like. So while it's loading, I can tell you that, remember, in demo mode, the system's going to by placing an arrow over the, I'm going to pause that. It'll place an arrow over the task that I'd like it to complete, and it's going to tell me over here to the right what to do. If I was in practice mode, the what to do would be there, but the selection or the instruction would not be there. So I would be clicking around without instruction. In perform mode, the what to do list here would not be here. It would just say locate the FMS, or let's say complete first officer's pre-flight. So in this section, it's telling me what to do, locate the captain's FMS on the CDU, and so FMS CDU. So it's telling me, hey, this is where it's located. So I click on that, and now it brings up a reference for what I clicked on. So in this case, it's an image of the CDU. I could have instruction. I could have a video here. And I can show you a little bit more on that later, but you can define what they see here at any time. And then the next step is to continue to the next page. If you look at, I'm coming out of this development screen. If I look at let's say a 737 walk-around page, again, it's the same idea, enabling objective, what to do, enter a text or a failed response of what, hey, you made a mistake. The system will give you a fully rendered three-dimensional exterior aircraft for me to work with, and a hotspot editor that I can move it around. Now, again, we provide a fully developed walk-around program that's editable by you, or you can create your own. And again, this is for every aircraft that we work with. Lastly, let's go over and take a look at what the FMS slides would look like. So as I mentioned, you're able to add an FMS page. I created or selected FMS 737-800. It gave me this NG CDU, and now I can create tasks in the CDU for instruction, practice, or testing. In this situation, I said, hey, I want to tell it what are the departure and arrival airports, and where do I put that, right? So enter the departure and arrival airport in the CDU. I'm going to show you what that would look like in the program. So when I'm doing the definition, I'm saying under instruction mode or demo mode, hey, highlight the keypad so he knows where to type. And then it says, what's the objective, what to do? Well, we're going to type KLAX KJFK, KLAX KJFK. Oop. And if I make a mistake, it's saying, oh, you made a mistake. So now I'm going to add a slash KJFK. And KJFK, FK, pardon me, I can't type this morning. And then the next task, as you see, it fell down to the next task. It said, put it in line select key one right. And so I put it there, and it says the objective has been met, and now I can move on. Again, I defined this task, but you can do it by either creating new tasks or modifying the ones that we've done for you. In regards to, so the last page that we can add to our lesson as we design it would be quiz pages. And so you have the ability to add quiz pages that could be for just reference or for credit as we go through, as you create the lesson. And I used a simple example. So I grabbed the 737 cockpit panel image. I annotated it with a quick ball note, and that's as easy as inserting something like that. And so here would be number 3 on my ball notes. Let's put it there. I can put arrows. I can put text on the screen. I can add here an option, location 3, and I've highlighted that location 2 is the correct answer. And then when they submit this, it would then, whether it's for reference or for score, it would tell them that they got the answer correct. And if they got the answer incorrect, it would prompt them under performance mode to find the correct answer, correctable to 100%, or under practice mode, it would refer them to information about what they should have selected. Lastly, there's the score page, the conclusion page, as we talked about, and then the exit page. As I mentioned, and real quickly, I want to demonstrate. Let's say I look at this and I said, well, wait a minute, the FMS, the CDU reference should be actually probably better served after the FMS lesson, and the intro slide should be ahead of the demo slide. Very quick, easy drag and drop. I know I've been moving kind of quickly. For those of many of the people on the call already have Invent, and I know that you like as much information and instruction on this. So when you log into your Invent LMS, you'll find that there's a full developer course there. And that developer course will walk you through all these tasks in a video format. Excellent training courses on this. And each one of them is only less than 5 minutes, but very, very good course. Or call client services and they'll arrange a training webinar for you. For those of you who are new to CPaT, if you like more information on that or how this works, you can always call us and we'll do a demonstration on site for you.